Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new lesson. In today's lesson we're going to be talking distance, not only with driver but with all the clubs in your bag. So let's figure out how we're going to generate more distance. So if this is your first lesson, firstly welcome to the channel, and if this isn't, welcome back to the channel. Do remember though, if this is your first lesson, hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the bell notification, and join everyone else who improved their golf last year with free golf lessons every week. So driver distance, how are we going to generate more of it? Because it would be absolutely fantastic if I woke up in the morning and I had about 20 yards further in my locker. What we would notice is that I'd probably be knocking it further down the fairway, and then all of a sudden I would be going in with shorter irons, and even if I took the distance into my irons as well, I'd be playing shorter irons into the green, so it would technically become a lot easier for me to get it close to the green and try and lower my scores. So how are we going to do it? In today's lesson I'm going to give you 3 tips on how we're going to generate more distance. So let's take a look at tip number 1 right now. Okay, so first things first, you're going to need some dry shampoo or foot spray. The reason being that as we try and get a little bit more distance, what we're actually trying to do also is increase our ball speed. So we might gain 2-3 miles per hour club head speed, but if we're not getting a good centered strike anyway, that 2-3 miles per hour would be wasted, because if we start hitting it out of the toe, hitting it out of the heel and not getting the center, the ball isn't going to come as quick off the face as it would do from the center. So what we need to do is make sure that we're always getting this consistent contact. And also, when we generate more club head speed, we also want to see that we're not knocking it wildly offline. It would be great to gain 20 yards further off the tee or with our irons, but if we are then knocking it out of bounds every time, it's pointless. So let's just see that we can get some spray on the face and actually monitor where we're starting to hit it. So if we think of a great driver of the golf ball, and for me, Rory McIlroy has to be probably the best driver of the golf ball I have ever seen. For a small lad, pound for pound, he knocks it absolutely miles. And the big thing that I see from a lot of my lessons is that when they're trying to generate more distance, they don't go about getting this centered strike because of their setup. So tip number 1 is we're going to generate a setup just like Rory McIlroy. And what we would see from him is something where he gets a nice wide platform, because what we want to see is that when he actually swings it, I can't recall a time where I've ever seen him make a golf swing and look totally unbalanced, either in the backswing he's out here and falling off, or as he swings through into his finish, he's always holding his finish and staring it down the fairway. So to do that, we need this wide setup. We need to see there that you'll see on the screen now the lines, the insoles of my shoes are somewhere near my shoulders, or even actually just outside my shoulders. From behind us here we see the angles in the body. I've got some good bend at the hips, I've got a little flex at the knees, and I've got a pretty straight back there. What we wouldn't see is that I'm stood close to it with no real angles. I make a platform that will give me the best opportunity to make a speedy swing, but also stay in balance and see that I get this centered strike from the golf ball. I don't want to be narrow, swaying, falling off balance and actually pulling the club away each time, because that's when I get the toe and the heel, and all the speed that I've created is a waste of time. So tip number 1, let's see that we can set up like Rory McIlroy and give ourselves a good fighting chance of making a balanced golf swing. Okay, tip number 2. When I see guys or girls in my lessons and I'm saying, you know, what are you doing? I'm trying to generate more speed, I want to swing the club faster. A lot of it comes from the hands and their arms. They think, well, if I'm going to hit it further, I just need to try and smash it. And what it looks like is almost that they're trying to drive the club head down into the ground instead of making this nice balanced swing, and also making a golf swing that has a wide arc to it. Again, if we think of Rory, what we would see in his takeaway, if we think of the hands and the swing centre being the sternum, As he works it away, it's nice and wide here, so you see the distance from my hands to the sternum has stayed the same. It has not now got a lot narrower, meaning that the arc of my swing would get narrow. He generates a nice wide arc to see that he is going to gain ultimate club head speed through there. If it gets narrow, it's not going to be swinging as quick. If the club head has a wider arc, it has more time to travel, thus giving it greater speed as we get through the golf swing. So tip number 2, once we've got our good setup, what we want to try and feel is that we generate a nice wide arc, so it would almost feel that we're brushing the club head along the ground whilst turning the body, the hips and the torso as one, feeling that I'm getting this nice wide arc. And a good checkpoint would be as the club gets to horizontal now, we want to see that the hand hasn't got any closer towards the middle of our chest. And this goes even if you are a senior golfer. What I see from a lot of seniors is that they get a little bit narrow and, oh, because I'm older I can't swing it as long. If you actually didn't let the club go as far, even if it swung to here and you got a wider arc, you would still generate more club head speed. So whether it is, you know, for you senior golfers or slightly younger golfers, let's see that we're still making a nice wide arc as we take it away. Okay, so tip number 3, and again this comes down to looking at Rory. Like I say, I think he's probably the best driver of the golf ball I have ever seen. If we think of him in position, and obviously I know everyone has limitations in flexibility and the strength they have, but again, when he's making a good golf swing, he's not hitting off his back foot. When I see a lot of people trying to generate more speed, everything is hit. And this, what we see is that he uses his legs correctly. So if we think, you know, of power lifting and squatting, even one of the only men who ever beat Tiger in a playoff or beat Tiger, KJ Choi, was an ex-power lifter. So as he was generating a lot of speed and distance for a small guy, he had tremendous strength in his legs. So tip number 3, we need to make sure we're using our feet and our legs correctly. So as we take our setup and we've got a nice wide arc now, what we want to make sure is that we're not swaying in the backswing and letting our feet feel like a little bit loose and wobbly as we're going through. We want to make a good turn, feeling that we're almost pushing down into the trail heel in the backswing. And then as we get into impact, we hear a lot of this squatting motion and turning, but all we really want to try and feel is that we load into the trail, push off it as if we're pushing here, and then let the lead side extend up. Now, like I say, depending on your flexibility and your ability to do this, it might not be something that you can do to a great force, but what we want to try and do is make sure that we're just using the feet correctly and transferring our power in the backswing into the trail side, and then in the downswing we're actually pushing the pressure forwards to allow us to get into that good finish and see that we're nice and balanced. So we've got 3 tips there. We've got number 1, create the setup that is going to allow us a good balanced finish, so if we do get some more club head speed, we're able to get the club back onto the ball in a centered location. Number 2, we want to see that we're creating a wide arc to give ourselves the best chance of creating as much speed as possible. And then tip number 3, we want to use our feet correctly by loading the pressure into the trail heel, pushing off, turning into full extension of the left side, or my lead side for me as a right-handed golfer, and we should see that we get a little bit more distance and a little bit more speed. So let's put this to the test. It's a little bit of a cold morning out here, I can hardly feel my fingers, but with those tips I'm feeling good that I can launch one. So nice and balanced, good setup, wide arc. Oh, not a bad one. A cold January morning. It's got out there. So guys, 3 tips there for you to try and generate more club head speed and get some more distance in a controlled manner. Give those a go. If there's anything you think I've left out as well, comment down below. And like I said earlier in the video, do remember to subscribe, because we've got 3 videos a week coming this year. Lots of new stuff coming. Be a pleasure to have you along for the journey and hopefully improve your golf. Thanks for watching this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.